Hey everyone, it's Matt with A1 Solutions Group here with this one's video. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to deal with debt collectors properly, or as you see in the video, what debt collectors don't want you to know. And let me start here. A lot of people think, and I used to think the same way, because this is not taught to us. We're not educated about credit and the laws around debt collection. The laws that are there, they're there for our protection. Okay. A lot of people think that when a debt collector calls them that they have to pay the debt, there's nothing that they can do, and you may have heard horror stories of people who've been sued by debt collectors and things of that nature. Well, I'm going to tell you some things on how to handle them because you have rights, and debt collectors unfortunately prey upon your ignorance and fear so that they can get money out of you. And let me say this, let me start here. In the eyes of the debt collector or the company, you're not special, okay? You are one out of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that they're trying to get money from. That's all they care about. All they care about is getting money from you. That's it. Now, as far as getting money from you legally, illegally, or in shady ways, yeah, they'll go that far because, again, they are preying upon your ignorance and fear and will violate your rights. You have no idea. So how does this work? So you had a debt, right? And let's say for simple math, it was with ABC company and the account was $1,000. For whatever reason, you were not able to pay that balance off or pay the account down. And so the creditor then sold the account to a debt collector. Now, what debt collectors do is that when they buy these accounts, they're not buying the accounts at what you owed. They're buying the accounts at pennies on a dollar. So let's say for simple math, in this example, they're buying accounts at 10 cents on the dollar. So keep it simple, $1,000. If my math is correct, they bought your account in this example for $100. Okay, this is important because they buy it for cheap. That way they have this profit margin. This is why when if you've spoken to them on the phone or you get letters and notices from them in the mail, what they'll do is offer you different ways to settle the debt, pay on it, negotiate, all this stuff. Because again, why would they buy it for $1,000 to then offer you a settlement? Okay, and of course, when they send you these notices in the mail and stuff on the phone, they want to tack on all these interest and fees. Believe me, they know that most people don't have the money to pay it all up front, because if they did, well then the debt collector would not have your account. Okay, so that's how this works. That's number one. Number two, notice how I said that when it comes to debt collectors, they have the account, they don't have the contract that you had with the original creditor. This is important because if you've ever talked to them on the phone, what do they always say? Oh, this call is recorded. And then they also want to verify your information, your name, your social, and to get you to admit that the debt is yours. Okay? Why? Because they don't have the contract. So they get you on record saying that the debt is yours. What they then do is, if they try to take you to court, they can sue you, and or if you decide not to work with them, okay, they can take you to court and say, Your Honor, we have the defendant on record saying that this debt is yours. That the debt is theirs. That's why they do it. Now, with all this knowledge, you have to understand, because of that, that leads into my next point, number three. What a lot of people don't know is that under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, they are supposed to and required you by law to prove to you that the debt's yours. Think about it. If they bought the debt for pennies on the dollar and they bought the account, and none of the contracts, agreement that you had signed with the original creditor, they could go after anyone and say, hey, is your name so and so? Yeah. Is the last four of your account 1578? And you could say yes, and they could say, yep, this is your debt. You now owe it. You now have to pay us money. This is what's important, because debt collectors, time and time again, they get sued, they get fined, they get shut down for violating the rights of others to try to collect money. Because that's the whole concern. They're just trying to get paid. That's it. And so what you can do is, what you want is that you can send a notice, you can send a letter to the debt collector, whoever they are, and say, hey, you can send what's called a debt validation letter, because then they had to do their work in order to prove to you that the debt's yours. Now, if you choose to do this part, mind you, sometimes they try to get one over you by giving you some other documentation that's yours. It's not. You need the actual signed contract agreement that you have from the original creditor, but they'll try and get around that and all this other stuff. We can do that, okay? The other thing, too, is when you do talk to them on the phone, there is no law. Again, there is no law that says that you have to talk to them on the phone and verify anything. You don't have to. That's not the point. If you want them to stop calling you, one thing you can do, and I've done so before, is that when they call you, you answer the phone. You don't tell them, you don't verify your name or say anything. They'll ask to speak with you. They'll obviously, when they call, they'll ask to speak with you. And what you can say is, what is this in regards to, or what is this call for? And again, they will say, well, we need to speak to so-and-so as a personal matter. And again, you can ask, well, what is this about? And then you can also say, and then I would recommend also saying, well, if you cannot tell me, take me off your call list. And again, when you say it, they'll continue to persist. I need to know if I'm speaking to so-and-so. Well, if you can't tell me what it's about, take me off your call list. Keep saying that. You be nice about it. And what will happen is they'll stop, hang up the phone, and they won't call you again because, again, the call is recorded. And since they can't really say this personal stuff on the phone that's recorded, if they keep calling you after that, that's a violation. They can be sued. They don't want that, okay? There's that. What else can I share with you? You can do that. If you are getting mail from debt collectors, text, or emails, you can actually use this one phrase to get them to stop or catch them in a violation, okay? One thing you can say is, in the text, email, or even write a letter out, and you can do this. You can say, I am unwilling to pay this debt, or I refuse to pay this debt. Because under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, when you say this, they cannot try to communicate to you about collecting on the debt. And unfortunately, nowadays, we live in a digital age. If you send us an email and a text message and they keep trying, that's a violation. You can sue them for that. And if you do this, you want help with this, reach out to me. Simply schedule time with me on my calendar. It's speakwithmatt.info. Again, speakwithmatt.info. No need to put an E-W, but speakwithmatt.info. Do that. They'll take you directly to my calendar, or you can book a cool 30-minute call and we can talk more about this. So, let me pretend because nuts. That's better. You can see me better. So there's that. This is a real thing you can do. I've had clients use it. Another friend of mine I worked with, he's successfully used this with his clients. They've done this. They've gone to sue the debt collector. And what happens in that case is they sued them, got money back, or they get the debt collector on the violation. They get the debt collector doesn't want to get sued and pay money, so they've agreed to they'll agree to waive the debt and delete the file off the client's credit report. So there's a lot more to this. I can go on and on, but you do have rights when it comes to debt collectors. You need to know them. Do not let them run over you, bully you. And by the way, if they get on the phone with you and start harassing you and using threatening language, that's also against the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and you can sue them for that too as well. So, as you can see, there are a number of rules and laws around this because this is a sensitive issue. Because with the way information is today, this applies even more than it ever has been, because people can get you with fraud, identity theft, all this stuff. So you have these laws in place to protect you. Use them, leverage them, know what they are, so that way when you're dealing with debt collectors, you know what you can do and what they can and cannot do. So yes, they can contact you on social media. If they contact your family and friends, they cannot tell you. They cannot tell them that it's to collect the debt. If they do, it's a violation. There's a lot of things that they try to get around because they're trying to get to you so you can pay them. That's their goal. That's all they care about. Things like that. If you do get a court summons from them in the mail, there are ways to go about to handle that, respond to that. And here's the thing: if you have gotten a court summons in the mail, I recommend showing up, because 90% of court summons from debt collectors end in a default judgment against the defendant because the defendant gets too scared and doesn't show up. If you show up, you can fight this in court. Actually, there are things you can do prior to showing up at court where you can get the you can respond to, because they're supposed to do certain things in the court summons. Again, people don't know this, so they get away with it. I've seen one colleague of mine, the debt collector was suing a client of theirs for like $20,000, and they were told by another lawyer that they would have to pay $18,000. This colleague friend of mine got with their client, and was able to get the entire court case dismissed based on prejudice. So these are things that you need to know. That's how you handle this, okay? With that being said, I'm done with the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Reach out to me if you need help, questions. You can text me on my cell, which is 240-418-2646. Again, 240-418-2646. Or again, go to speakwithmatt.info. Again, speakwithmatt.info. Just speakwithmatt.info. No need for the www. Book a time on the calendar. Go from there. With that, I will see you all next month.